56.
56 years old, and I know you're 219. What was it, 5'10"?
Like 5'7", 219.
Okay, 5'7", 219. And when you look in the mirror, you see a 2 out of 10. Who cares if you look better than most? That's what you see. So my thing was, my question was, what do you need more of or less of? At 5'7", 219, when you look in the mirror, to get from a 2, not all the way to 10, but how about to an 8? What do you need more of or less of in your mind? So when you look in the mirror, you're happier like an 8.
I think cutting weight, cutting body fat, I think are the big things for me.
Okay, right. And guys, how I help guys too is, and you can text me at this number if you guys ever want to talk. A picture tells me 1,000 words. I've been doing this for so long, so when I know what 5'7", 219 may look like, and then I'll ask you a question too, Tony, like how long have you been working out, like consistently?
I would say consistently, I've been doing it off and on for 3 years.
Okay.
I did have a trainer. I used a trainer, and I think the biggest thing is he'd have me like on a keto diet, but it was something that I, of course, couldn't keep consistently doing.
Well, so why couldn't you keep it consistent? I mean, it was a variety of food. You were hungry and cranky all the time. What was it for you?
Yeah, I would say it's all of those.
Okay. So let's just start there. So he was a trainer. What does that mean? He was an online trainer, so he was responsible for what you did in the gym and also your diet? Or did you go to a gym and really what you concentrate on is the next level of training, make sure you had the form, he switched up the routine, he really, they say it's 80% is nutrition, 20% is training, but he really took 100% out of the 20% training. Really challenged you there, mixed it up, really earned his pay there. And then he threw in a little diet? Or did he feel responsible that, look, the way you eat, there's no sense of us doing here. You got to eat. I can only do so much here. Did he put that much training into it? Or did he really just focus on the lifting the weights in the gym?
I say he was more on the gym. Yeah, he had like a plan. He'd say like, this is how much carbs you should have no carbs. This is how much macros you can have, and he would just show me different foods. Say these foods you could eat.
Okay.
Cover this.
So he did address that. Was that a bonus to his service, or did you pay for? Did you know you're paying for the whole package? You know what I'm saying? I'm just curious, because personal trainers, their job, that's a tough job. And you won't see, I'll be just perfectly honest, you don't see very many men who are great at what they do are personal trainers. And the reason why, unfortunately, in a man's world, you got to earn money. That's a tough occupation. You want them to come back. There's gaps in your schedule. It's the most inefficient, right? So if someone's really a master at what they do, they're not going to be a personal trainer, just because of the time constraints, trading the hours, the gaps, the turnovers, right? They need someone marketing for them so they have a ton of clients coming through, right? And then if they have, so it's just a bad gig. And so most guys who love fitness, smart guys, ambitious guys, they're going to stop personal training about 23 years old, right? Because they can see the handwriting on the wall that you're only going to have such a quality of life if you become a personal trainer. Am I the only one who sees that? Or can you being in, most businessmen can see that. Do you see that in the profession of personal training? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would agree. I think I noticed with him what started happening is he wasn't being as consistent as he was,
Yeah, because, really, because it doesn't pay. I mean, if he got paid $1 million, he would be consistent. That's the whole trap of personal training, right? And I'm just saying, I'm just giving you an insight why this all gets complicated, right? More than it has to be, right? And then they charge $50 an hour. Just think, you got to turn over, you got to get new people, and how are you going to string together $50 with all, $50 an hour, whatever they charge, right? And all that has gaps in your schedules, right? So I'm just telling you, the best people to teach you this aren't going to be personal trainers in the gym. That's just the way it is. I mean, If you are a personal trainer and you're watching this, that offends you, you're probably one of the few who made it, but the most can't. The reason why that's important is you're not getting the full picture of what you need to do, right? Because like I said, at 5'7", 219, how many pounds, again, it's just a number, but how many pounds of fat do you think you need to lose? If you were just a guess, to feel comfortable, to take off your shirt, to look closer to an 8, how many pounds?
I think I'd want to be like 195.
Okay, 195. And let me just tell you, I'm 5'11". I know you're 5'7", right? But I'm 5'11", doing this for 36 years. I was like the world's best drug-free competitive bodybuilder, right? Like there's no way this guy can be natural. And that was from 28 to 41. So I've been doing, so if you think about it, the math, right? I'm 5'11", 219. So you're 5'7", you know, and again, is 195. That's a big muscular man. And I know, well, but let's just say it's that is the right weight, so you want to look the way you want, right? But that still means you got to lose 25 pounds of fat, not just in weight, to look the way you want, all right? So that's number one. So let me just tell you, I don't care if your personal trainer gave you the perfect workout routine. He made you believe that he designed this to your body type, and this is so unique to you, which it's not. Guys, if you want a workout routine, you got to cut that BS, that illusion, right? The guys who sell diets and training and make you think that this is so unique to you, all right? It's not the training program. You can make anyone work. It's not the diet. They all work. Right? You need to know but it's you, it's a consistency, it's the standards, you understanding, you putting the power into it. I can give you 2 training routines. If you're interested, just text me right now at the number of the screen. I'll give you a 4-day routine and a 5-day routine. Again, the magic is what is overload? How do you do this? How does this all work? Right? So getting back to your situation, your primary focus is how to eat. Because I don't care if you have the perfect training program, you've got 3 different versions. I don't care if you become so good, you make the younger guys jealous of you. It doesn't matter. I don't care how much weight you lift. I don't care if you don't rest very long in between sets. I don't care. That is not going to make a dent on that 25 pounds of sheer fat that you need to lose. Even cardio. Cardio is not the answer. That helps out, I guess, a little. It's diet, diet, diet. And your personal trainer probably told you that. He can't just teach you how to work out in a gym because you're going to make him look bad. You're going to come back. Your body isn't going to change, all right, if you don't eat right. And he knows that. So other people are watching him. He wants more clients in that gym, right? He can't have you look the same because they're going to say, well, what are you doing? So he's going to teach you how to train, but he should make sure that you know how to eat. Because that's what's going to change. Look, Tony, you don't even have to go to a gym, let alone get a personal trainer. You could just walk just to stay active and healthy. And if you watch your diet, you can lose this 25 pounds. That's how unimportant in the short run of losing the body fat, weight training, and cardiovascular is. It really is. But again, if you're going to do this, you might as well do it all. You need to work out for muscle. You're going to need that muscle. You're probably already noticing at 56 years old how the legs, you can just feel them hollowing out, right? As age, the butt is just going, right? If you don't fight for that muscle mass when you're older, you're just going to lose it all, right? So you should weight train, but I'm just telling you, lose the body fat. It doesn't matter how you weight train, but you might as well do them both at the same time. And you should do cardio just for heart health at your age at 56. So, but that's not making the impact on weight loss, it's diet. Let's talk about your keto diet, right? Because you didn't get a full understanding of how this all works, and that's what made it, you don't understand it, and it became something you can't sustain, right? So now, again, you kind of shared the keto diet, you kind of talked about carbs. You don't have a complete understanding of how this works. I can tell that you have this belief that ketosis is the magic formula, that if you're not in ketosis, that's what eviscerates fat, it demolishes fat, and keto is the key, and this diet does this. And you did it, and you also lost weight. Let me just tell you, you don't have to be in this ketosis. You can just balance your calories with just a regular ketosis body with carbs and everything. And so your calories are down. And I'm just telling you, if it's 30 to 40% protein, 30 to 40% carbs, 20 to 30% fat, but you hit the right amount of calories, not too much, but not too little, and you're consistent, you will lose fat the same. Now, does ketosis make it a 10 out of 10 for fat loss? Well, you can argue about the science if that feature is really that much. But even if it was a 10 out of 10, just a regular balanced diet would be a 9 out of 10. It would still get you there. So you bought into this belief that this was the ultimate, far, far superior way, almost maybe the only way to lose fat. Now, why that is? Because everybody believes that carbs, are, the secret. Carbs are the enemy. And so that kind of goes along with your belief. You've heard about the keto diet. If a diet's just bland and basic, you're not going to know the keto diet, the carnivore diet, intermittent fasting. If there's not something special, it's not going to stick out. Nobody's going to know about, there's a diet, I think it's called a whole foods diet or something like that. That's not special. That's not unique. It'll work. But you will latch on to things. They'll stick out: keto, intermittent fasting, carnivore, right? They're special, unique, different. They'll stick out. They're not any better, but they've got a good marketing, unique selling point. They stick out. That's why you know about them. Not because they're necessarily more effective or the only way to go. So because you've heard about it, people have probably had, good experience. It's, people have this misconception that carbs are the enemy, so it's low carbs, high protein. It just sounds right. If it sounds right, you'll be more likely to do it and do it 100%. All right? So here's a great thing about the keto diet. It's not ketosis. It's like when you cut out those carbs, you have a lot less chance of overeating. If we're going to overeat anything, it's going to be carbs. They kind of change our state. They're good. They're filling. They can convince you to, hey, it's just white rice. New York, he was talking about the white rice makes him feel guilty because it's soothing. It feels good. If we're going to overeat, it's going to be something like carbs. But if you keep them within your calorie range, there's nothing wrong with carbs. And provided, I know when we get older, some men need to watch their carbs because of their sugar levels, pre-diabetic, those type of things. I'm not talking about that. But carbs in and of themselves, in the context of a good diet, the right calories, all right, they're not dangerous or they're not so bad for you. But people have this belief. That's another reason why the keto diet works. Any diet, carnivore diet, intermittent fasting, just a regular whole food diet, a bro diet, a bodybuilding diet. Look, every diet will work. It's which ones do you prefer, which ones do you believe in, which one suits your personality, right? As long as you don't eat too much food, you don't eat too little food, when you hit the right amount, and you want to eat as much food, you don't just want to have this gigantic deficit. Most men eat about 1,200 calories. The average man should be eating twice as much, 2,500 calories, right? So, and when you find that right amount, you're consistent with it. But to be consistent with it, you got to know how fat loss really happens. I mean, these things are goals of losing 2 pounds a week. If you're on a diet that consistently loses 2 pounds a week, for 4 weeks in a row, which it won't, okay, that diet is too severe. If that does do that, if it does deliver that, you won't be doing it a year from now. You won't, because that's too extreme. Yeah, you're looking for pounds where you need to understand how this really works in the time frame, so you lose body fat. If you don't know how it works, you have no chance, because it'll always fall short, and then you'll quit. Here's the thing about the keto. Now, it's how you understand it. It's how it's explained. If you were to eat keto, but you kept your calories up, all right, it's not magic foods like absence carbs or this protein. It's not the cheese. It's not the butter. It's not whatever. The thing that's attractive about the keto diet is that you get to have these flavorful foods. It's almost fun to diet, right? Am I right at the beginning? Am I right? So here's the thing is too, if you keep the calories down, and and you're having all this flavorful food, it's actually fun. And here's the deal: your muscles are 35% of your body. They're 70% fluid, so they're in a constant state of fluctuation of how much fluid they hold. And I'm not talking about bad body water weight. Okay, I'm just talking about like your muscles can be plump like a grape with fluid, or they can be depleted like a raisin. All right, it's glycogen in the muscle, carbs. It's eating accurate, and that's what keeps glycogen in the muscles. That keeps your muscles full like a grape and not depleted like a raisin. But they're constantly. When you go on a keto diet, guess what? You limit your calories, so there's no carbs. You're going to lose 5 pounds just because 35% of your body, 70% fluid. That fluid, your muscles become raisin-like. All right, it probably was a good feeling. Wow, I lost 5 pounds. But in your clothes, you felt drawn and smaller, right? But you just associate it as a good feeling when you went on the keto diet. Do you remember that being true, right?
Yes.
But here's where human beings, the natural thing where they blow it. Okay, it's like a magician, right? The magician is doing the trick right in front of you, but it's the sleight of hand. They get you focused, in a different direction. And so you don't see what's happening right in front of you. That's the illusion of magic, right? Well, if you think it's these magic foods in ketosis, the absence of carbs that's doing it, it's this butter, it's this cheese, what you don't understand, it's the calorie deficit is what's doing it, not the magic ketosis. That's what's doing it, okay? So you're focused on the foods. You think you got this magic combination of food. Tell me if this is true, Tony. So after a while, you're going, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm losing weight. It's kind of fun eating this. But then eating the cheese and the meat, the meat's kind of expensive. You got to cook it right. It's no big deal. I don't really feel good about eating this cheese and eggs and this, And you say, well, I don't need that anymore. And so you said, I'm going to do better than this diet. And you stop eating as much cheese and as much fat and as much meat. Did you naturally do that after a while?
Correct. Yeah,
okay. Because you're bored with it. It's not a big deal. And you said, I'm smarter than this. I have more discipline. I'm going to get more gains. I'm going to stop eating all this. What you don't realize, because no one emphasized calories because you thought it was the certain magical foods that you're eating in ketosis. Man, you probably were only eating 2,000 calories to begin with. That's with everything. You eat 2,000 calories, you're going to lose weight. It's not because of ketosis. But then when you outsmart it, you're out ready to discipline it, you start, man, guys, they don't know that calories are so important. Oh, I don't count my calories. I just know my macros or whatever. What they do is they lull themselves on this diet. And I bet by the end, you're eating 900 calories. You can't even live on 900 calories. But guess what? You were getting leaner. You were feeling good. You had that edgy feeling. You were losing weight on the scale. You're getting rewarded. Tony, tell me if this is right. Long before you quit and started eating up, right? Your family is saying, dude, you need to eat a hamburger. You're a pain in the ass, right? They told you you're losing it, right? You're getting nervous. You're getting anxious. You're moody. They told you that long before you quit. Am I right?
Yeah, my wife's over here laughing right now.
Okay. Yeah, because you don't have any carbohydrates to make you think and function, and you're eating 900 calories now. And you should be eating at least twice as much. Calories is energy. Energy is food. Food is energy to work out in the gym, but also have some stamina to, like, when your wife's talking to you, to pay attention at the end of the night, or from 3 to 5 at work. You have no energy, but you're just caught up because you're losing weight on the scale, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, man, well, the weight stops, and you're thinking, okay, the weight stopped. Now you're realizing, I guess I am grouchy. And your wife's saying, I told you that 4 weeks ago, right? But now you're not getting rewarded. You're not getting the compliments. It's not going on the scale. I say, what the hell am I doing this? I still have all my other problems in life. Who cares if I'm 12 pounds, 20 pounds less, right? And then all of this isn't worth it anymore because it was never sustainable to begin with. You got to learn how to do this eating 2,500 calories and go slower and gradually lose the body fat, not go this short-term route. But you know what? If you don't have a diet that has a short-term route, nobody's going to do it. Because nobody's going to explain to you especially what I explained to you. And you know what? Did I know your whole entire existence, from your relationship with your wife to the energy that you didn't have, to how you cut the calories, how you got bored with food? How would I know all that? I just met you, right? Because people run in patterns, all right? But if that diet didn't deliver you short-term gains, you wouldn't have done it. But this is why they say that diets don't work, because it's not sustainable. Once you realize, you know what, my life still is the same, even though I'm 20 pounds less. I mean, I guess I feel good that I did something, and I feel good that my clothes feel a little bit better. I took control of my life, but I still have the same problems. Is it worth all this work for me being starving and grouchy? It's not worth it. You got to find a way to gradually do this that it's worth the effort, right? But I'll just tell you, most people won't do it the long-term way, especially when they do it themselves. So your question was, how can I help you? Well, let me ask you something. Guys pay me money to deal with them every single week. Did I help you at least unravel why that never worked out for you? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal, Tony. If you didn't meet me tonight, you're not going to get what I told you from watching all these generic videos. You're not. The only way you're ever going to get out of this is if you said, damn it, I'm sick and tired of this. And then through trial and error, you just gut it out and you finally figure it out. Hell, you might be 60 by then. All right? The very least I can do is help you understand why it didn't work. I know mentally, physically, emotionally what you went through, why it didn't work. So at least, what do you do when you look in the mirror like 6 months and summer's coming or whatever, and you're sick and tired of the way you look? You're going to say, I don't know what to do. I hired a personal trainer. I went on the keto diet, even lost weight. What's going to make you have the confidence that there's something else out there? No, you can just take the beating in life and continue to stay fat. That's why diets don't work. How I help out men, I help them explain all this. I teach them the right way. And guess what? I meet with them every single week, right? Because they're still not going to believe it. They're still going to need encouragement and reinforcement. Look, I have this on a recording, all right? TikTok allows me to do it. I can get this 20 minutes that I talk to you, and it would be every man's story who was on keto. Just think if they got and took this information to heart, okay? At least they'll realize why they failed. So at least they can say, okay, maybe it's not because of my age or this or that, or the personal trainer screwed me or this or that. They have no idea why they failed. I just told them why they failed. So at least they can find a way to not duplicate that, right? And you know what I mean? At least go on that journey, right? I always use this analogy. When I was 16 years old, I didn't have a dad who was one of the, I had a stepdad, didn't teach me all the manly stuff, all the nuanced things in life. So when I got my driver's license, I don't care where I went, I was always lost, right? Just, I didn't even, the joke back then, right, Tony? We didn't have these phones that would say, turn around, stupid, right?
Yeah,
right? I couldn't look at those maps because I never even realized, like, where's north, south? Am I supposed to look at the North Star? How do I, the big joke was, how do you fold the map afterwards? Why open it up? I don't even know which way is the top and the bottom. Where's the North Star? I didn't even try. Remember, like, I don't know about you, but I would ask for, like, directions, right, on how to get somewhere. We always used to stop at the gas station. Did you do that, Tony? Or was that just me, right?
No,
Man, just think of them. The gas station, how much directions they had to give, right? That was their whole job. They were the original GPS, right? right? And so, like, if he gave me 5 different turns, I would try to get 2 or 3. You know what I mean? I would try to get 2 or 3, and then I would stop at the next gas station. Driving places was just the most miserable experience. All right? So I lived in Sacramento, so we'd go to, like, the Giants, San Francisco Giants game, or 49er game, or Oakland Raiders game, or Oakland A's game. So it's like an hour and a half drive with freeways and stuff. Man, you'd think, okay, hey, I'm going to go to the game, man. I'm going to watch Joe Montana hit Jerry Rice or whatever, right? Man, I'd be sitting there driving, turn off that music, shut up, don't talk to me. Am I going the right way, right? Am I north? This doesn't look familiar. I'm going north, south. Should I turn around? There's times I turned around, and it was a good thing. I just drove 30 miles the wrong way. It's a good thing I turned around. Sometimes I turned around only to realize I was going the right way, but at least I knew that. Every mile was just overwhelm, confusion, angst, sweating. Not thinking about, why am I doing all this? I want to enjoy the game with my friends, right? That is exactly how older men's journey is through this fitness. They're not even thinking about, oh, I want to be healthy and fit for my family. All right, I worked hard on my family and my business. Man, that extra 40 pounds, that's not who I am. I'm smart enough. I got to attack. I know I took care of my family and my business, but I'm 55. I got to work on my body too. That body is not who I am. And now is the time to do it. But every time they do it, there's just so much uncertainty. They watch all these kids on YouTube or these Yahoo bodybuilders talking about protein synthesis and, nutrient time and all this stuff that doesn't even matter, right? Just getting overwhelmed. You're driving down that freeway going, am I doing this right? Even if you were doing it right, it's a miserable experience. When you do this right, you need some guidance to keep you accountable. So your question was, how can I help you, right? This is what I do. I get men week by week, and depending on their desire, their ambition, because I get a lot of businessmen. They're just sick and tired of going through all this, and they're not going to watch all these kids, talking about natty or not, or the trend, or all this. They're not. They're not going to. They don't even like having a profile, because they don't even want anybody to even know that they're on TikTok, right? So. So they just hire me, and I talk to them every week. It's on a recorded call, where they get the call to reference it later. And it's a serious time. Within 12 weeks, we meet on the same day, same time, week by week by week. All right. And so, for someone like you, I teach you the right diet. I explain, maybe clean up the misconceptions of the past, like I did here. All right. But that's still. I really think, and what it's like, Tony, you're probably successful with your marriage, and a lot of guys, they've been married for 30 years, right? Their business, the kids, they got good kids, and I know there's always a higher level, right? So it isn't like they're dummies, right? I help them figure this out so they don't, and then I've got to reinforce it. You know what it's like to succeed. When you want something worth having, you're not going to be 100% confident. If I do this, then it's going to be the payoff. I always say that God makes it exciting by you having to be a little you got to have the journey. Am I going to really make it? That's what makes life exciting, right? But I always say, and this isn't a real number, that you got to be at least 87% certain your hard work's going to be paid off. If it starts dipping below 87%, man, it's just it becomes too much of an angstful journey. You know what I mean? So I'm with them all driving down the freeway, I'm in the passenger side, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to be driving. I'm going to say, all right, Tony, hey, remember I told you about that keto diet? Just trust me, this and that. And you're going to say, are you sure, Skip? And I'm right there. And you're going to say, yeah, keep on driving. And I'm going to make you feel kind of comfortable for the next 5 miles. But then you're just going to start freaking out because you've never been down this road. You've never been to the 49ers games. You've never been there, and you want it badly. And you're doing all this work, and you invest your time and your money with a coach, right? Like you did with the other one, right? You want it to pay off, right? And I'll say, look, Tony, man, I just told you, right? Hey, wasn't I right? All those other times. Well, yeah, but this is different. And I'm there all the time, so you keep on keeping on. Because I'll tell you, the weight thing never happens the way you think. I have guys text me, they weigh themselves every morning and every night. It's not that I need those numbers. I need them to know. Most men know that their weight will be more at night in the morning. But what they don't realize is it goes up a couple pounds every morning. All right. So if you kind of weigh yourself every once in a while and you have a good hard week of discipline, and then you get on the scale, just say every Saturday, and I didn't lose any weight or I gained a pound. Well, you're going to doubt your workout and your eating. But what you didn't know, if you would have got on that scale on Friday, you would have been 3 pounds less. This is a whole different story. I lost 3 pounds this week. But if they don't know how it works, that weight thing is going to screw them up and make them doubt they have a right training routine in the workout, because no one wants to work out. But if you don't understand how the weight works, it's going to throw you off. I take men, have pictures every week from the front and the side. I make sure they have the same clothes, same lighting, same distance from the mirror, because I match them up after weeks. Because when you do this in a sustainable manner, that scale is not going to move, but you are going to lose fat. I can tell you the whole entire journey. The first wave, so the first thing is I usually have men eat up because they're eating so little. But now they have glycogen in their muscles, so they'll gain like 3 pounds. All right, and I reassure them that is not fat. It's not muscle, and it's not worthless water weight. It's just your muscles are now full of glycogen. They're more grape-like than raisin-like. That's just normal. That's what their weight should have been. All right. And right, so then they go on the diet. They're eating all this food, and they're going, well, I'm not gaining any weight except for that initial thing. They're starting to feel it around their waist. All right, that starts going their pants almost immediately. But it's interesting because the arms get tighter. Maybe you remember this. The thighs get tighter, the upper back, because those are some meaty areas, and now they have glycogen in them. So while your waist immediately starts getting smaller, and your shirts aren't fitting to tuck them in, right? But the arms are getting tired, like they're blowing up a little. So, but what'll happen is, like about 3 weeks into it, you would have probably gained 3 pounds and then lost 3 pounds. But it's 3 pounds of sheer fat, right? And then you'll have people who haven't seen you in that long a period, maybe every couple months, right? And they'll see you and they'll say, Tony, whoa, are you working out? Man, you look like you're in shape. They'll see it in ways that you don't see, like your body, how it's formed, your cheekbones, things like that. And you'll say, well, no, actually I went to skip and I gained 3 pounds and then I lost it. So I'm the same weight when I started. I haven't lost any weight, but you have, because it's how it's distributed when you do it in a sustainable manner, right? Then about the 6 week point, and then your wife's saying, wow, you look good. And then you're going, well, I kind of see it sometime, right? But you think they're kind of being nice, your wife and kids, because they know you have much into it, right? Right. But you match up those pictures, because there's a lot of times you take that picture, you go, ugh, it's like a kick in the gut, right? But when I match them up, like week 1 to 4, you can see the changes, because it's too subtle when you do this in a stable manner. The truth of the matter is, when you are 35 pounds lighter, Tony, that might take 6 months. I'm not one of those guys that BS you and say that in 12 weeks you're going to go from the way you look now to a 10 out of 10. I don't care how hard you work. That's not how it works. All right. But after 12 weeks with me, making you accountable, making you do it, reassure it, right? You'll know how to do this for the rest of your life. You won't even need to watch TikToks, because you can decide, okay, well, he's a bodybuilder, or he's doing extra stuff, or you'll be able to put it in context, right? You can watch TikTok videos not to confuse you, not for more information, because you got that with 12 hours with me week to week to week, right? You'll just do it for inspiration, but you'll know exactly what to do, right? And I would say, like 6 months from now, you're eating more food than you've ever eaten, but your metabolism kicked in, the fat is gone, it's gone forever, and that's how you do it forever, right? But it's a process, right? And that's how I help men do it. So yes, I'm not in your town personal training with the gym, but I'm a lot more impactful than a personal trainer, right? Get paid more than a personal trainer too, though. So, that's why I take serious guys. But does that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate your time on it. And then if I decide to do starting something like this, do I reach out to you?
Yeah, just text me at that number. And I could talk more about specifically, because depending on where the person is, they may not need 6 weeks. Who knows? I've got a package that you pay $147. It gives you a lot of audio, video, but you get a 1 hour conversation. I could talk to you specifically and line you out. And if you could take it from there, then you got everything you needed. The call is recorded, so you can listen to it as long as you pace yourself, right? That could be the best $147 that you can spend on yourself. And the reason why I do that is, you're not the only one. It says, how can you help me? How can you help me, right? You're in California, I'm in Florida, or wherever, right? I need to talk to them and to explain to them what I explained to them, that, look, I already know this. It's just new to you, and this is how I can help you. They're used to a personal trainer, right? So I got to spend a lot of time explaining that. And usually, so I have to show them what I can do, like I did to you and all the people watching. Wow, this guy knows a lot. He can help me. Because you don't know what you don't know. And how would you know? I know what you don't know, right? I have to spend time with you and talk. And that's what you're not going to get on the internet. And it's just like personal training. Like, I'm a professional. I've been doing this for a living, so I have to provide value. What most personal trainers, they just want to send you a diet, in a training program. You kind of think that's magic. And if you follow it, you'll do it. But if you don't understand it, because they don't want to charge you, and they also don't want to talk to you. right? Because it's pretty intensive to talk. But yeah, so I don't know. That should give you a whole. If you really sat and thought about why this is so complicated for the information is so hard to grasp for something that seems so simple, and how a smart guy like you can't put it all together. Did you find this time together helpful, Tony?
Oh, yeah, it's big time. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. I'm very interested. I really will reach out to you and talk
Yeah,
more.
I mean, like I said, nobody knows what I do. They can just imagine, and they have that question: how can you help you, right? So that's totally normal. But the good thing is, I get a lot of men who they're the type of guy, look, I'm not. There's got to be better way to do this. They don't necessarily know how I can do it, but at least they're open, and I talk to them about it with their situation. Those guys who reach out, because they're the type of guys. They kick butt in their business. They're the experts, or the consultant, the contractor, the real estate agent, the financial planner, and they wish people would quit trying to figure it out themselves and save themselves time. So they just assume I must be able to do that time. So it's my age, the way that I look, the way I present myself. I'm the same age. So, once they talk to me, because they don't know again what's behind the curtain. So that's just my job. And that one session, I accomplish so much that they know, and then a lot of times they go on for coaching. They don't have to, but at least they got a sample platter of how much I could help them, and that's what I need to do. To have people put their faith and trust in me to go on that type of thing. That type of journey. So I appreciate me being able to help you out. And a lot of times I wish there was a lot more people watching, right? But what I can do, I can take this recording and then turn it to a podcast and get it out there. So, but because this journey, see, that's the other thing, Tony, is that, like I said, anybody who's done keto, this will be the exact model, not the kind of model. It's the exact model that they're going through. Now, the height and the weight and the age may be different, but they've gone through the same challenge. But there's this disconnect. Well, I need him to talk to me about my situation. Tony's not me. It must be so different. It's like 95% exactly the same. So they won't benefit by more videos saying this. I can tell you what, I've just been doing this for a long time and how human beings work. There's not one person watching that said, hey, I'm not Tony. I may be taller, older. I need to lose more weight. But not one of them are saying, man, what he told Tony is exactly what I need to do, and I better start doing that tomorrow. They're not doing that. They think it's all separate. Everybody's a snowflake, and they're all different. You know what I mean? So, and for all those reasons, that's why it's so hard. I mean, it's pretty easy if you just work hard and you're consistent to get looking better than most men. What I say, the top 20%, but that's not really too hard because most men our age don't even work out. But usually, when you get to the top 20%. You're thinking, man, then when you get there, then that's not enough. The winners and the guys who I coach, they want to say, well, what does it take to get to 5%? I've gone this far without really knowing what I'm doing. So those are the type of guys who I track for coaching. Not a lot by numbers, by percentage, but if I spend enough time doing TikTok videos, I meet a lot of them, right? So, all right.
That's totally awesome, man. I appreciate everything. That was awesome, and I will definitely be getting